You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't smell it, but it's here. It's an invisible killer, travels unseen, and it's man-made. I'm not talking about the flu Han Wu, I'm talking about persistent herbicides. It prevents the plants from photosynthesizing, and eventually they all die. This was brought in on compost from a commercial nursery. You think you'd be safe from it, but it's everywhere. If you were a new gardener, you might think the lack of growth, the yellowing leaves, and the dying plants were your fault. Too much water, not enough water, not enough sun, not enough nitrogen, or maybe some miracle micronutrient is missing from your soil. But if you've been growing the same plants for years and years and you have a failure like this, you know it's something different. The transmission mechanism works something like this. The commercial hay farmers spray a broad spectrum herbicide on their fields to kill everything but the grass. They harvest the hay and they sell it to the farmers that raise animals. The hay contains the herbicide. The animals eat the hay, but the herbicide doesn't affect the animals at all. It passes right through them. It's concentrated in their manure. Then the commercial composters mix the animal manure along with other compostable material like grass cuttings and leaves, shredded wood, commercial kitchen waste, whatever they can find, and you end up with compost that still has broad spectrum herbicide in it. Eventually, the chemicals will break down and the compost will be safe to use in your garden. And it doesn't affect all plants, but certain ones, obviously bok choy, and in a little while I'll show you some tomato plants. You can see how devastating it is. So how can I be sure I'm actually dealing with a persistent herbicide? Well, I've got overwhelming circumstantial evidence that I'll share with you over the next few minutes. You've seen what it did to bok choy, and that bok choy was grown by an experienced gardener who's been growing it for years. So a crop failure there is very unusual. But that's not very convincing, is it? Well, I've got more. First of all, there was a 1 cubic yard purchase of topsoil and a 1 cubic yard purchase of compost that we mixed together to make garden soil. Then we sent that garden soil to 3 different locations, all within 10 miles of each other. And all 3 gardeners experienced the same problems. But if you're an experienced and paranoid gardener like I am, and you've seen the damage persistent herbicides can do to your tomato plants, then you take extra precautions, and in my case, I kept the new soil we brought in separate from all of our regular grow beds. And when I get back to my 5th acre of clay, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I don't know if the camera can pick up how yellow these zucchini plants are, but they just don't have what you would expect the growth rate for zucchini to be. These leaves should be dark green, they should be much larger, and you can see the damage to some of the leaves. See how it's shriveling up. I have 40 tomato vines planted look great, except for two. These show normal growth, and so do these. But these two plants over here, my Supremos, they've really been struggling. I've been giving them extra water. I'm watering them twice a day, trying to flush the remainders of the herbicide out of the soil. But when the sun hits the plants, the leaves and the branches twist up like pigtails. That's not a normal growth habit for a tomato. I don't know if these will survive or not. They look better today than they did yesterday. And that brings us to the discussion of what can you do? The first thing to remember is that over time, the herbicide will continue to break down, and eventually this soil will be good. Anywhere from 6 months to 2 years for it to finish breaking down. The second thing to remember is it will affect different plants in different ways depending on the specific herbicide and the concentration that remains in the compost that you get. So the best thing you can do is anytime you bring an outside soil amendment in, to isolate it into one area of your gardens and test plants in it and see what happens before you introduce it into the rest of your garden. Fortunately for us, this new soil was all put in an area that does not drain into the rest of our gardens, so any herbicide that leaches out will just drain down along this water channel off the property in an area where we're not actually growing anything to eat. As the sun slowly sinks into the west, I made it out to the third gardener who uses that soil we purchased. You can see the potato plants look fine, but these tomatoes look terrible. These were commercially grown tomato plants, and they were healthy when they were brought in. You can see how much damage that soil has done. The leaves are all curled up. Tomatoes have flowers, but I don't think they'll produce fruit. Spinach leaves are all curled up. And pale yellow zucchini plants. Pretty consistent with what we saw at our property. If you look at this container, it has two healthy looking zucchini plants that have fruits on them already, and it's got some potatoes growing in here with nice dark green leaves. That container is right next to this one, which has two zucchinis. They have some flowers but no fruits. Plants are pale yellow. Some of the leaves have already died, and you can see the potato leaves are a much lighter shade of green than the ones over here. I'll have to ask him why this container looks so much better. He must have used a different soil in here. So it's a sad thing to see a new gardener put all of this work into getting container gardening set up and then have to deal with bad soil. So to you, Mr. Garden Center, if you want to see your customers come back, you better fix your problem. And I'm not going to name the nursery because I haven't had a chemical analysis done on the soil to prove what kind of herbicide it is and what concentration it's in. But I am going to contact the nursery and let them know what happened. That's the most important thing we can all do, is point out to the suppliers when they have a problem, we have a problem. So get out there, try to make some stuff grow, and try to learn from your failures. And remember, they're not always your fault. The most important thing is to just keep planting.